Hello and welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we are talking about the July 25 drops for Kaido House and Mini GT. You already see two other drops that happened this month. One of them is the orange BMW M3 that you see right here. There is a full story of that on our channel, so definitely do check it out. We'll also have an unboxing video of the Skyline, but for now we are going to talk about this one. This is the number 176, the Datsun 510 Street Team XMM V1. So we've already seen the 510 Street from Datsun in white color. The 510 has a long lineup within the Kaido House and Mini GT realm. We've seen the wagons, we've seen these beautiful, compact, little thrill racers, and the white one is the one that's going to be closest to this 176. The anniversary edition is a stunning one that is a highly sought after model. Will this join those ranks? Well, let's find out. Let's see what's inside the box. But before that, let's just take a closer look at the box art. So plenty of real world photos of the car. And here you see Frank. So Frank, for those of you who don't know, is an ode to Junimai, that's the designer at Kaido House, his own 510 wagon. That was called Frank. And a lot of car makers or model car makers out there have immortalized that model, and it's already available. Some of them even available with the Junimai figure. So maybe if you're a big fan of Junimai or 510s or the Kaido House, maybe just get yourself that. For now, let's see what's inside. Does it look exactly like the car that it promises to be? Let's see. Let's just take out the box. More photos inside. So this photo clearly shows us that the 510 is an inexpensive JDM offering. It's not the most powerful. It's far from it. It's not a very powerful JDM offering at all, but it's a great starting point if you want to get a taste of the Japanese tuner culture. Lightweight car, plenty of thrill. It came with 1.4, 1.5, and 1.6 liter engines. I think those were the only three options at various points in its lifetime. And the power to weight ratio was really nice. That is what made them a lot of thrill. Not when they were actually being marketed or being sold, but much later. When they entered the resale market at throwaway prices, that is where kids started figuring out these are fun machines, and then they started picking out these 510s. And this particular model, this is how it started life before it became the XMM racer that we are seeing right now. So this is Chris is the one who works on Junimai's real world cars. So yes, this car exists in the real world. This is how it started life. This is more work in progress photos. And I think this is before they started working on the paint job and the bodywork, etc. So let's take out the model now and see what that is all about. There we go. Typical Kaido House secure packaging is what you get. So stuff is not going to break that easily. And speaking of it, remember the 510 anniversary? Remember that flat spoiler at the back? That was a delicate one, especially if you got those boxes and now paying resale for it. Your heart's always going to be pounding and hoping that nothing's broken inside because that spoiler was really delicate. So this one, the ducktail spoiler, is a lot more robust. And again, like I said, something we've seen on the white 510 Street. So if you want the plain colors, that's the one to get. If you want the racy decals on it, then this is the one that should do the job for you. So speaking of those decals, signature Jun Imai styling, we've seen that on some of the 2000 GTRs as well. This is signature Jun Imai styling with those pointed stripes and those thunderbolts right next to it. We've seen that in different colors, and here going with a black and white combination. Now, one interesting bit is if we go back to the box art, if we see the car, the real world photos of the car, you see that the front bumper is deleted. In fact, I think the rear bumper, yeah, you see the other one, the rear bumper is deleted as well. So that is not the case with the model. So if we look at the front end again, the bumper is deleted, but you do get that splitter in the front. The bumper is still there on this model, both front and in the rear. But that splitter in the front with the fluorescent yellow, fluorescent green on it creates a beautiful contrast. And I think it goes really nice. It's like a neck breaker. So I quite like what they've done there. And then you get, speaking of contrast, you also get those red wheels, 5-spoke wheels, deep dish, very nice. I think that contrast is nice. It's a red chrome or anodized red that you see with a chrome rim, deep dish rim, and then the Advan branding on the tires because they are big fans of Advan. So these are Advan slicks. No, this is a race car, the XMM team. So these are advanced slicks that you see here, no tread pattern on it. And in typical Kaido House style, it's a completely, flat or a bling underbody that you see here. Mixed tire sizes, the rear ones are wider than the front, but the rim design remains the same with the five-spoke star in there. More advanced branding is what you see below the doors, and then the number 10 decals on the door itself. Kaido House written right behind there, and the XMM agency logo right behind. And that is what gives this car its name, right? The 510 Street Team XMM V1. That's what it's called. The rear windows are going to have the Kaido House logo over there in that oval. And then we see the Triple S logo on the C pillar. So Triple S is also the ones that have made these mirrors in the real life as well. So Triple S mirrors, fender mirrors, completing that look. You don't see them on the race car, of course, but you see them here on the model car. And they are rubberized, so they won't break that easily. But I don't want to play around too much with that. Then moving on to the rear three quarter, you get the Datsun branding on the sides, the stripes extending all the way back, and similarly the stripes that we saw on top, again going all the way back to that ducktail spoiler. We see the Datsun logo or the Datsun lettering on this end. The tail lights are really beautifully detailed. They've got a nice deep 3D look to them, and the reflectors inside of those are shining quite nicely. So that is a detail that I like. The period correct bumpers also look quite nice front and rear, and they've been left unpainted. So they have that raw metal look on them, which again looks beautiful. And the registration plate, it just says the 2130. So I don't know what that stands for. I don't know if, again, it's a reference to Frank somehow. I don't know what the 2130 stands for. The Datsun logo again on the side, and then you see the little fuel filler where the Datsun lettering ends. So it's a mirror image of the decals that we saw on the other side. So no real changes there. And again, that Kaido heart is right here. Now, looking at the interior, it's a five-seater configuration. You can see that. So you get two racing buckets with very little whiplash protection, or probably no whiplash protection. These are really tiny, shorty racing buckets that you see in there. And it's a left-hand drive car because this is in California. This is in LA. That is where they're making it, or that is where it exists in real life. But you see the seats at the back as well. So maybe Junimai wants to take his whole family or take people for a joyride in the car. So the rear seats exist as well. You even see the headrests on those when you look at the car from the back. And then there is the white roll cage also properly fitted. So I don't know how people are supposed to get into the rear seats, but yeah, even the box art suggests that those rear seats do exist on the real car as well. But anyway, I think this is a very nice looking model. The details on it are really nice. So let's now pop the hood and see what's underneath. There we go. So the Datsun Bluebird 510, as it was called, in some of the other markets, it was called the Datsun 1400, the Datsun 1500, Datsun 1600. This is a model from the 70s, mind you. So this essentially pointed, or those names essentially pointed to the engine under the hood: 1.4 liter, 1.5 liter, 1.6 liter. Junemaya's own Datsun 510 wagon came with a 1.6 liter engine, and I believe that even this car would be running a 1.6 liter four cylinder engine. Rear wheel driven, and you also see the exhaust right on the side. So I'm sure in real life, this is going to be one loud car, even with that tiny engine. So front engine, rear wheel drive configuration, thrill machine, and this is the racing rendition of it. And no, you don't get an exhaust on this side, you only get it on the left hand side of the car. Opening parts is something that I really like on Kaido House models, and the engine details are very, very nicely captured, including that little red piping, wiring, even the turbocharger, all of that. I mean, they've got a ton of detail going in there. No suspension as such, but it's a proper low rider. And the bonnet is quite easy to close as well. So, what do you think about this model? I think it's a nice one. It's definitely something that, you would want to take to swap meets or diecast meetups. It'll look nice on the mats, it'll look nice in the dioramas. I really like the kind of contrast that is being created with the fluorescent yellow up front and the red wheels, the red interior. So it's got a nice vibe to it. I'm not a big fan of the 510s, let me be honest. I'm not a big fan of the 510s, but I love the anniversary edition and I quite like this one. If I had to make a choice between this and the white street, I would probably go with this because I like black and white combinations on cars. I think they look quite nice if they are properly done. And here in Junimai's signature style, I think it looks quite tasteful. At the same time, it's got just the right amount of bling, to add to that madness. And one detail that I missed out talking about is the front end. So you get the Datsun Bluebird grille on this and block of plates for where the headlights would be with the number 10 on it to reflect the number 10 deco that these guys have gone with. So that detail is quite nice. So the front end, I think, even without deleting the bumpers, is looking quite beautiful on it. And those are not orange blinkers. They've just added some orange paint to the front end to create even more contrast. So there's a ton of different colors on this car, though it largely looks black and white. There's a ton of different colors on this car, and all of that is quite nicely done. It's placed in the right places and give it that race car vibe while maintaining is its 70s look to an extent. So I quite like it. You tell me, what do you think in the comments below? And thank you so much for watching this one. Until the next one, take care, drive safe, and happy collecting.